I know last week I declared the band was back together, just separated by a small bit of kidnapping, but this week we really did have everyone from the TNG crew back, with a nod to Tasha as well, who of course can't join them being dead and all. But it was a lot of work getting there, and when your starship has been taken over by a fanatical bounty hunter in space, well, that's when the real work starts. And the crew of the Titan were taken off guard, and many were then simply taken out of the equation as Vadic's soldiers searched for Jack. Hi and welcome back to Katie's Corner in Space, and this week's standout scenes for Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 8, Surrender. And this week was another one full of emotions, from happiness to fear and kind of everything in between. A lot of I'm not crying, you're crying moments.
I'm not gonna cry.
You're crying now!
Jack, for his part, was able to gain some intel, and with the support of Sydney, admitted he's been going through some changes. And I loved Beverly's reaction to this news, to scan him and make sure those darned hallucinations weren't back. But I'm going to hand this one to Ed, who's done an incredible job as the new guy, taking up the kind of role us gossiping Trekkers have been waiting to appear for decades. Namely, the love child of Beverly and Picard, but I digress. Ed, or Jack should I say, is completely torn up as he admits what has been happening, and you can practically taste the fear and confusion as he hopes once he's said his piece, he won't be left alone. And that is why my first standout scene is gonna go to Jack confessing his new abilities. It was heartbreaking. And for my second standout scene, I'm gonna go with Shaw's lesson in Starfleet to Seven, and Seven declaring her name. Both needed to be said because both need the lesson. I know it's been hard for me watching Seven try to mold herself into what Starfleet asks her to be, but Shaw laying it out like that, well, it's got to be hard to hear, but she took it to heart. In a way, only Seven could. And I truly look forward to the last episode where Shaw finally calls her by her damn name. Because this is just ridiculous, and so I make that prediction, if not demand it, right now. To gain a fighting chance of taking back the ship, they need data. It's as simple as that. Once Jack's attempt to input the codec fails, there really was no other course of action. But they can't trust lore, so again, in another act of desperation, the partition in M510's mind is removed, allowing the elements of data and lore to connect, and the Mindscape scene was, well, it was beautiful. The white space Trek often uses when a character is within themselves is all too familiar. And we watch as trinkets and keepsakes from Data's existence are absorbed by lore, bit by bit. And just when all seems lost, Data's using harsh language and contractions. It's insanity, I tell you. And so Data saying goodbye to his brother and waking up as Data Plus, of course, gets my third standout scenes. But wait, that's not all. I admit I couldn't just pick 3 scenes any more than I could pick out just 2 honorable mentions this week. So now I'm on to Vadic on the bridge terrorizing the entire ship with her announcement and taking the life of one of my favorite Titan crew members, but I'll get back to that. But I will tell you that once the Trek deity sees fit to announce the spin-off, aka Star Trek Legacies, there better be a really good replacement. I was really looking forward to that backstory. So now I'm pissed. Seven is pissed. Really, no one is happy about a damn thing, not even Vadic, after Jack explains he most definitely would die if a device suspected of being a bomb went boom while in his hand. And so this standout scene is going to sound a little like a clue answer, but it's Jack on the bridge with a personal shield. Vadic was less than helpful when Jack asked her point blank for answers about himself. But cryptic word circles are always annoying, and Jack, well, he promised his dad time, and he delivered. That was freaking brilliant, as the escape hatch blew and Vadic soon froze while drifting through space only to smash into pieces. Jack and Seven safe within the field. It really was a fantastic sight. However, I was really expecting Vadic's trajectory to go a little lower, frying her. So I'm a little curious if being smashed to pieces and frozen will really be the end of Vadic. But it is enough to give the ship back to its captain and get our heroes back to saving the galaxy. And if you've made it this far, let me thank you for joining us here today. And before I get to the honorable mentions of the episode, just a reminder to subscribe and like below. If you come back regularly, consider that join button as well. As conventions draw closer, I'm planning to get my camera and give all members some sneak peeks and some say in questions I ask stars when given the chance. Alright, enough shameless advertising, back to the show.
And now for our devoted listeners, back to the show.
When it comes to the honorable mentions this week, I really have to start with Riker and Troy, but mostly getting Troy back. I adored their talk and Deanna's exasperation at Riker at the beginning. Later, I was surprised at Deanna's use of her gifts after Thad's death and glad that it was discussed as well. But the best bit was, of course, Worf rescuing and then telling her of how he thought of her often and Riker playing the jealous husband. But who could blame him? Worf always did like wooing with poetry and he was being awful poetic. Another honorable mention, which I already mentioned, but just the manner in which it was done, is the execution of Taveen. Vadic's sadistic game, playing with the crew's minds before surprising us all, was just a special kind of cruel, and is deserving of an honorable mention for keeping the dread momentum going and taking away a character I was really looking forward to getting to know better. And my third honorable mention, because I just love the line as much as the crass language can jolt me occasionally, having Data declare he was the pissed off security system was just fantastic.
Greetings, USS Titan. This is your friendly positronic pissed off security system.
And yes, the honorable mention is simply for that line, its delivery, and the result of said pissed security system's actions. But I think I kinda dig Data Plus. Now, as Deanna attempts to unlock the mystery of the darkness inside as well as that red door with Jack, we have to wait once again with pretty much the exact same questions as last week. What's the weapon? What's up with Jack? And who is pulling Vadic's strings? Although I must say I've also been racking my brain trying to figure out what it is Picard might have in his brain which he would or could have passed to Jack. Whatever Raffi gathered in the download should prove helpful. Could it be something Jean-Luc encountered in an early mission, long before he was captain of the Enterprise, or perhaps even before the Stargazer? Or is it something he inherited from his father? Or is our other theory the winner? Jack is some sort of spy, a sleeper agent who is or has a portion of a changeling or other being somehow residing inside. I saw one interesting theory on Twitter this is connected to the Paw Wraiths, and since we were promised DS9 connections, we may already have changelings and Worf, but who says there can't be more? I suppose I know what I'll be researching until the next episode. Maybe I'll come up with some ideas, but until then, I'm really quite proud of the script for my first Contact Day project. It's short and not at all sweet. So check that out here, and I'll see you there.